On today's episode of Locked On Angels, before the season, Patrick Sandoval said he wants to be the ace and lead the way. Was last night the start of him actually fulfilling that prophecy? We're going to talk about why Sandy was so successful against the Pirates. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to give back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. It's one of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation. And today's show is brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122, ready, Johnny, million parts to choose from to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, keep your car, truck, or SUV alive at ebaymotors.com.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Mike, we've been fans of this team for years, our whole lives. And we're so thrilled to be the host of Locked On Angels and talk Angels baseball like we're talking to our buddies, because you are Locked On Everydayers. You are our baseball buddies. And so it's so much fun to talk Angels baseball with you Monday through Friday, every single weekday. In fact, Mike, you know what's great is when Locked On Everydayers reach out to us. And I found out yesterday that Daniel drives his sons to school every morning, and they listen to us on the way to school. So shout out to Daniel and his sons, Evan, Jack, and Dean. Fellas, I'm so sorry that you are growing up in this era of Angels baseball, but I promise it will get better.
Yep.
We have had the highest of highs in the past. It's a low point, but you know what? You're going to be there for when it's good again. So stick with it, boys. Thank you for listening to us on your way to school. We're so happy to be part of your day and have you on Locked On Angels. Hey, on today's show, Mike, what's the key to Mickey Moniak's success? Well, Wash knows, and he's going to tell us, and we're going to tell you. Then it's time for a vibe check. I reached out to our Locked On Everydayers and I said, how are we feeling, Halo fans? And this is before the win last night. So we have some very honest answers that we will get into later on. But first, Mike, who could have guessed that this lineup would have won the game against the Pirates 9-0? Now, I had a good laugh because, and I shared this on our post-game video, our recap video that we do after each game. I said, Jeff Fletcher put out the tweet with the Angels lineup, and it was just awful. It looked like Cactus League spring training baseball.
Right.
And everybody in the replies saying, this is horrible. I can't believe this is a lineup that's happening in May. This is an unwatchable team. Half these guys should be in AAA, which I don't disagree with any of what people said.
Right.
However, you and I have watched enough Angels baseball to know that this lineup is exactly the kind of lineup who's going to score 9 runs and explode and have this crazy victory. Mike, it's the Brett Phillips and Andrew Velasquez each hit 2 home run kind of lineup like we've seen over the last years. It's like these guys don't do anything during the regular season. Then you get a lineup like this, and that's exactly what happened in yesterday's game. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's probably a good drive to school with Daniel and Evan and Jack and Dean this morning, because the Angels did win 9-0. And there were 2 heroes in this game, Johnny. The first hero, can't believe I'm saying it, Patrick Sandoval.
There you go.
A heck of a game. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 103 pitches. Johnny, in the 7th inning, he fought to stay in that game.
I saw, this is what you could see. You just see Washington shaking his head no, and Sandoval shaking his head yes. Or was it the other way around? I might have had that backwards. But either way,
they were arguing.
They were arguing and doing the opposite thing. Sandoval said later to Erica Weston that the infield argued for him. They said, no, he's staying in. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And yesterday, John, on yesterday's show, I got some flack for sharing an interesting take where we were talking about leaders of this team. And I said, I think Patrick Sandoval has got the energy if he can just funnel it and channel it, and if he can actually perform. And you saw some of that last night, especially with the infield going, no, let this guy stay in. And I love that he fought to stay in. He has pitched so much better, John, in his last couple of starts, specifically the last 2 starts. In fact, Patrick Sandoval's 4-seam fastball usage has been the dramatic difference, right, over his last 8 starts. Why don't you share those stats?
Yeah, over the last 8 starts this season, in terms of Patrick Sandoval using his 4-seam fastball, he used it 22% of the time in the first game, 34% in the next, 33% in the next one, 33% in the 4th start, 21% in the 5th start, 7% in the 6th, 7% in the 7th start, and yesterday, Mike, the last start, 2%. In fact, I think he threw 3 or 4. The very last pitch he got a strikeout on was a 4-seam fastball. But Mike, he's got a perfectly good sinker that is fastball velocity.
Yep.
And you saw the results of that. You saw flyouts, you saw groundouts. That's what he needs. He did not have a pitch that was going to the infield or the outfield, and he's using that sinker to get it done. Plus, his 4-seam is not very good. And you know what I loved? Again, Erica Weston talked to Patrick Sandoval afterward, said, hey, your fastball usage has gone down since the start of the season. You're at like 2%. Why is that? And Sandy said, we've had some conversations behind the scenes. We talked about it. And you know what is encouraging to me? For as much as we have been harping on the coaching staff to help these guys play fundamental baseball, and we know that it takes talent to play fundamental baseball, but it also takes a good coaching staff to help them play fundamental baseball. Mike, things are happening behind the scenes. It means Barry Enright, our pitching coach, had a conversation with Patrick Sandoval and said, hey, dude, you got to ditch that 4-seam. It's no good. If you want to use it, you got to use it sparingly, but you've got the good stuff there that you don't need to be using that 4-seam. Stuff is happening behind the scenes, Mike. Pitching coaches are actually pitch coaching in this regime. So thank goodness something good is happening behind the scenes.
His last 2 starts, Patrick Sandoval has gone 12 innings, given up just 2 runs, a 1.5 ERA, 17 strikeouts, 3 walks, 7 hits. Johnny, no home runs. That's huge for Patrick Sandoval. And he didn't fall apart when Cole Tucker tried to give the game away 14 times last night at third base.
He really did.
Poor guy is just not a third baseman, right?
No.
Or at least he had a tough game last night, and he didn't fall apart. Talking about Patrick Sandoval on the mound when those mistakes were made, but not giving up the home runs is huge. But speaking of home runs, John, Kevin Pillar, who I think had 4 RBIs all year long, comes into this game, hits 2 home runs. He's the other hero in this game. 6 RBIs, Johnny.
Can he hit 3 home runs? That's all I can think of with Seinfeld.
Yes.
Or no, can he hit 2 home runs?
Yeah. He was incredible last night. Taylor Ward took the night off, and to have Kevin Pillar come in and do what he's kind of done in his career, where he just can come into games and just cause a lot of havoc and a lot of damage. Typically, it's against the Angels. It's always Kevin Pillar that just sinks us when we're playing the team that he is on. And so to see him come through last night, to see Sandoval come through last night was fantastic. But, John, the offense was kind of balanced. So why don't you walk us through how we got to 9-0?
Yeah, top of the 4th, Mickey Moniak had a single. Calhoun walked. That's when Kevin Pillar hit a 3-run home run, his first as an Angel. It put the Angels up 3-0. I said, hey, I know you had this on your bingo card, everybody. Scratch off your 3-run home run from Kevin Pillar.
Yeah.
And everyone had a good laugh at that.
My favorite meme that you posted was the Kevin!
Yes. I posted it like 100 times.
Yes.
Top 5 with the bases loaded. Pillar grounded a ball hard to third base. It scored a run. It made it 4-0 Angels.
Productive out.
Pillar drove in the first 4 runs of the game. Then O'Hoppe singled, knocked in a run. That made it 5-0. Jeff Fletcher actually had an interesting tweet about Logan O'Hoppe because he caught up with him yesterday. He said catcher Logan O'Hoppe returned to the lineup on Monday, 2 days after he bruised his hand on a foul ball. O'Hoppe said before this game he feels fine, but he's still trying to get his swing back. After a hot start, O'Hoppe has been 7 for 43, which is a 163 average over the last 13 games. Not where I want to be, not where I need to be, O'Hoppe said. I don't feel like anything's going wrong. I just can't put my finger on it, but I do feel pretty convicted in what I'm doing now, and I feel like I'm definitely getting things back in order. But the past 2 weeks have been, I wouldn't say bad by any means, just not where I want to be. Mike, he ended up having 4 hits in this game. Mike, and you know what it is? I don't know how he doesn't see it, but he's putting the ball in play. He's going with the pitch. He's pulling it when he needs to. That's the answer. If he's looking for, what the issue is, that's the answer. So he had 4 hits in this game, including that RBI. Top of the 6th, Nolan Schanuel had a single, knocked in Neto to make it 6-0.
Talking about going with the pitch and putting the ball in play, Schanuel is now doing that, and that's why he's getting hits again.
Can we watch this game 100 times, Angels?
Right. Yeah.
Look at
this
what you
one
did
and
well.
last Friday's game. These are the 2 games that they need to just have on a loop in the dugout and in the clubhouse.
Absolutely. Top of the 7th, Kevin Pillar hit his 2nd home run of the game. 5 RBIs, made it 7-0. Mike, he wasn't done there. He had a double, and Schanuel scored on that double. And you know what I noticed too? Schanuel, he slid into second base.
Yeah.
I had a good laugh about that. It wasn't this play, but it was a different play.
Yeah.
Schanuel slid, and I said, good job, young man.
He's sliding all the time. He's sliding into first.
Yeah, no kidding. So here we are again. Pillar has a career high 6 RBIs. He's never done it before.
Right.
Two home runs and then 2 RBIs off of hits in this one. Ohapi singled, got the RBI. 9-0 Angels. Mike, it was just I already know people are in the comments. It's the Pirates. Who cares? You have to understand something. If you want to be a smart baseball fan, then you have to understand that the reason why this happened, I'm not talking about the offense. I'm talking about Patrick Sandoval. If you get a shutout against a team like the Pirates or any team, it's because he got away from that 4-seam fastball that doesn't move, that doesn't sink, that doesn't go left to right, that doesn't have drop. He got away from it. And this is the indicator right here that says, okay, from this point on, Patrick Sandoval should not and will not be using that 4-seam fastball in the future, unless it's like he did last night where he threw it 4 times because he was trying to get the strikeout, which he did.
Yep.
So all I'm saying is, I understand it's the Pirates. I understand that they are struggling just as much as the Angels are. They got a better record. They're under 500, but they have a better record. But I already hear the comments of it's the Pirates. Be a smart baseball fan and understand what changed. What changed is that 4-seam fastball with Patrick Sandoval.
Absolutely. And the Angels are not in last place. They are 13-23, and the Astros are 12-24. So 12-23.
If you would have told me before the season that the Angels would have the same record as the Astros, I didn't think it would be, well, it's not the same record. We're one better. But if they'd be neck and neck with the Astros, I didn't think it'd be at the bottom of the of the division.
You'd take it all day long, wouldn't you?
Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen every single day. The Angels are back at it this morning. Hopefully, you've got a chance to listen to this episode before you watch the game at 9:35 Pacific time. Guys, guess what? Jose Soriano's on the mound. Let's do it again, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go. Hoppy better be back there. I know it's a day game. I know it's a quick turnaround. He's got to be back there, Michael.
I think so.
You can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. Just search Angels. Coming up on Locked On Angels, what's the secret to Mickey Moniak's success? Well, Wash knows, and we're going to tell you what he said coming right up.
Mother's Day is this Sunday. Johnny, have you got Mama Halo Bro a gift yet?
I'm ready for Mother's Day, Michael. So,
Are you really?
So yeah, I'm ready. Listen, everybody, everydayers, don't screw it up. We're here to help you with DoorDash. Let's go.
Absolutely. And here's what's great about DoorDash is that they can help you love on mama wherever you're at, whether you live local or you live far away. You can surprise her with all sorts of gifts. Now, I'm trying to think about mom. Mama Halo loves flowers, right? She also loves jewelry. If we got her anything techie, we're going to have to help her with it, and she'll probably set it aside.
Right.
A couple years
for
ago.
8 months.
Maybe it's been like 10 years now. Remember when older brother Dave got mom that like little graphic where you can upload photos to the graphic, and it still has like photos from when I was like 6. It's still, so mom's not more of a techie person, but your mom might be. Whatever she is, whatever she likes, DoorDash is here to help you out. You can get all of your Mother's Day gifts in one place and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on whatever it is you purchase. Just make sure that you use our promo code with DoorDash, Locked On MLB. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. And Locked On Angels is brought to you by eBay Motors. John, you and I've talked a lot about eBay Motors and how helpful they are, because when it comes to car stuff, we are not car stuff inclined.
I almost lost the back of my side view mirror. Fortunately, I found it after I, almost got ran off the road and hit the trash bin, and I found it. But if I didn't find it, I would have gone to eBay Motors and looked up Toyota Corolla side view mirror back panel and would have had it right there, Mike.
Right. They have everything you need to maintain your vehicle. You can even level it up to peak performance. If you're thinking like, I need a supercharger on my Honda, then they've got it for you. If you're like, I need a roof rack on this Toyota pickup because I'm a man or I'm a woman, I need that. Or maybe exhaust kits, LED headlights. They've got everything that you need. In fact, with over 122 million parts for your auto, they have exactly what you need and exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guarantee Fit, this is the best part for, stupid car person like me. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, or they'll give you your money back. And I love that, because with eBay Motors, you are not burning cash, you're burning rubber. Gotcha. It's a little Father's Day joke for you. Okay. So with all the parts you need at the prices that you want, visit ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. And the eBay Guarantee Fit is only available to U.S. customers.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Locked On Everydayers, it's time to make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every single day to bring you the biggest stories from across the sports world. What's going on with the Nuggets? Huh? What, they dominate the Lakers and now they're down 0-2? What's going on there? Well, you'll hear all about it on Locked On Sports today, because they bring you can't miss analysis, opinions, news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube and the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And speaking of your team every day, they're back at it. The Angels, Pirates, 9:35 Pacific time. We're hoping to flip the script. They lost game 1, but let's see if they can win games 2 and 3, because so far they've won game 1 and lost games 2 and 3. So we'll flip the script today, hopefully. Yep. You can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. All you got to do is search Angels.
Somebody that I want to see do really well is Mickey Moniak. Mickey Moniak, for me, Johnny, is in that category of Jared Walsh. He's in that category of David Fletcher. And what I mean by that is I just can't get mad at the guy. Right? Even last year when he messed up that fly ball in center field against the Chicago White Sox, where it bounced in front of him and went over the wall. Like, I just can't get mad at that guy, because he owns his mistakes. The dude was hot last year. And so the question that we're wrestling through today is, what's the secret to Mickey Moniak's success? Well, according to Ron Washington, he said Moniak needs to, quote, make contact.
Oh,
that's what he needs to do. Right?
Next segment. We're done.
We're done, right? Wash said at the start of the year, Moniak wasn't making contact. Wash also said that when Mickey does make contact, he's at his best, especially when he uses the whole field. And that's important because, again, according to Wash, Moniak isn't a home run hitter, the home run hitter that he showed to be last year. I love that Wash is like, bro, I love that you're good, but 14 home runs, it's an anomaly. I love that he's just honest with him. And he said, I want him to be Mickey, not that Mickey that hit 14 home runs and thinks he's a home run hitter. I want the Mickey who, when he got drafted, was putting the ball all over the place, and then occasionally he'll catch a home run. John, I love the philosophy of use the whole field. And I don't think it's just a bunch of words, right? Especially with this coaching staff. I think that they're working really hard to make sure that Moniak does that. And you saw a glimpse of that last night because he hit a couple to right center and crushed those pitches. And when he does make contact, things go better for Mickey Moniak.
Can I just say, too, that I am so glad the Aaron Hicks experiment is over.
Yeah.
I understood why you might want him on the team because you did have question marks around Moniak and Adele and whatnot. But here's the thing, Mike. We have said all along, let the kids play. And, you know, Joe Adele certainly got kind of a head start even when Hicks was still on this team. Joe Adele got more of the playing time. And it took about 2 weeks for him to get hot. And for a while there, he was over 300. I know that he's cooled off a bit, but his approaches are still really great at the plate. And he's not swinging at the junk that he used to, which I think is an improvement at the plate as well. And then Hicks got let go, and we see a lot more Mickey Moniak because of the Trout injury. And where are we at? About a week and a half later, and Mickey's doing these things because they need consistent at-bats. They need consistent playing time. And it took about 2 weeks for Joe Adell to catch up. It took about Mickey Moniak about 2 weeks to catch up. And I think that's why we are at where we're at with Mickey Moniak. Now, having said that, there are some good things that are also happening with Mickey Moniak. In fact, he said that he's working this season to be better with his swing decisions. Mike, you know, I love players who have good swing decisions. We talk about it all the time.
No A buttons, loopy swings.
Yeah. So far, Mickey Moniak has cut his chase rate, get this, from 44% down to 25%.
Wow.
Huge. The major league average on chase rate is 22%. Moniak said that that he is once again focused on hitting the ball the way that he did before. According to him, he's just trying to hit line drives over the shortstop, up the middle, stuff I've done my whole life because it's gotten me where I am. He also added, the more at bats I get, the more I can get back to doing what I do best. The results aren't there yet, but it's a long season. We'll take it month by month and revisit it in October. Hey, revisit it in October. Wait, is he saying that his season's done and they'll revisit? No, wait, I'm not going to think about it too hard.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
Is Moniak going to be somebody who's a cornerstone of this team, or do you see him as complimentary? Does he have a future with the Angels? What do you think?
I love Moniak. I think he is a complimentary piece. I wouldn't say a cornerstone piece, but I think he could be the David Eckstein in the 0-2 Angels, right? He could be that type of guy for the 2024 Angels.
Just in the outfield.
Yes, in the outfield. But he's a complementarian type of piece to the Angels in that he's not going to be the guy that you're counting on to win the game or you're counting on to lead your team, but he stretches this lineup for you, right? And so around I think Ohapi and Netos, who will be the cornerstones, I think that Moniak will be a great asset to them. And I would love to see him around for a really long time. I think that when he gets really hot, he's really good and he has a good bat. And the fact that he's working on his chase rate will help his walk rate because he's not going after really terrible pitches. Yeah. And defensively, he's not terrible. In fact, he's made some really good sliding catches and he's really covering a lot of center field out there, which I think leads to another discussion of what they do with Mike Trout when he comes back, because Moniak hasn't lost a step out there. You're not losing too much by replacing Mike Trout with Mickey Moniak.
Well, and Mike Trout has to find a way to stay on the field. And part of that is maybe moving out of center field. And I understand that's a hard conversation to have, but the truth is it's got to happen. It's got to happen at some point. And the Angels have more than enough outfield help right now, especially between Moniak and Adell, to get it done. But I for one, am thrilled that the chase rate for Moniak has gone down, because that is going to be all the difference. And every now and then, Mike, he's going to be the hero. He's going to hit a home run. He's got the power to do so. But in my opinion, it won't quite be like Nolan Shawnoel in the sense that, you know, you're surprised that Nolan Shawnoel hits a home run, but it'll be one of those incidental things where, hey, Mickey's got a good pitch and he can crush it. And I think that that's going to be his type of game moving forward.
Hey, fantasy sports players, this is for you. If you have not downloaded Prize Picks yet, you need to. It's the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And what I love about it, it's really easy to use and it's very exciting to play, because you're not battling against thousands of other players. You're not battling against people that know more than who knows more than you. But let's pretend that there are people that know more than you. You're playing against the numbers, and we've talked about it on Locked On Angels pretty often. But if you haven't heard, here's how easy it is to play. You pick between 2 and 6 players, and then you decide if that player is going to produce more than or less than the projected stat. What's great about the projected stat is that it's usually like 5.5 innings. So you can kind of make a decision on, I think it's going to be 6, or I think it's going to be just 5. So if you say more than or less than, it's more likely that you're going to get that right. And even if you're not a baseball fan and you love basketball, you love football, or you know more about that, Prize Picks has basketball and football and hockey, has all the sports for all the sports fans all of the fantasy. You can check it out right now. They even offer weekly promotions and special offers for the biggest moments in sports. And then when you win, they offer Apple Pay for a quick and easy deposit, because once you win, you want that cold hard cash in your Apple wallet, right? So you can go and spend it on Mother's Day, maybe, right? Whatever, right? So download the app right now, enter our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Again, Locked On MLB, first deposit match of up to $100. Join Prize Picks today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Mike, in our last segment of today's show, I wanted to do a Halo fan vibe check. How's our mental health? Where are we at with this season? And so literally, I put this out on Instagram on our stories and just put the little question box there. And
you responded.
and lots of people responded, which I very much appreciate.
Yep.
And you know what I did? I screenshot it all and I sent it to you and you put them in our notes. And so we're just asking. And remember, this is before the win last night. So not everybody was feeling so great.
Yeah.
What was that? Tuesday morning when I put this out.
Yep.
But there's a good mixed bag here, wouldn't you say, Mike?
I think so. I think there's some good, and then there's some obvious like frustrations, but I loved that there were some people that were like, okay, here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the young players, or here's what I'm looking at. I'm hopeful that it's been a really hard first month, or the schedule was hard. So there's some good perspectives here.
One of these that I want to point out is from Callum Ramirez on Instagram. They said, I'm trying to stay positive by looking forward to our number 1 overall pick in 2025. Callum, I have bad news. And this is something that everybody needs to be reminded of. There's a draft lottery.
Yeah.
So even if the Angels had the worst record in baseball, it doesn't mean that they're going to get the number 1 pick. In fact, they might end up somewhere between 1 and 5, which again is a lottery ticket because it's literally a draft lottery. That's how the Angels ended with the 8th pick in the draft, which is worse than what their record was last year, unfortunately. So the Angels actually fell in this last draft lottery. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. At the same time, we have to temper our expectations because it's not a guarantee that we get that number 1 pick.
Which is why, for some of you that will comment and say the Angels just need to tank, the lottery, there's no guarantee that you're getting that number 1 pick. So tanking might be good, Well,
if you get a 1 through 5, that's beautiful. Right. And so, I mean, really, you might not get the number 1 overall pick, but a 2, 3, or 4, or 5 is a good one. So how about Von Jogle? Bon Jogle? Shifting into, I love the Halos, but it's just a game frame of mind.
Good job, Vaughn. I like this one, Johnny, from Danger is my middle name. We're good. Angels for life. Excited to see Adele and Detmers develop. So yeah, they are giving an opportunity for these young guys to develop, which is one of the positives for this season.
Natty 714 said, I knew it wouldn't be good, but this is not ideal. This is not the ideal situation. This is not the ideal circumstance.
Yeah. There's some with emojis on here that are a whole lot of fun.
There's some with words we can't repeat because Mama Halo Bro listens to the show. I get it.
Yeah. Someone said pain.
Just pain.
Just pain.
Yeah. Nick Smallwood said dumpster fire. I do love Nick Castle. He said, still love this team.
Yeah.
Still hate Artie.
Yeah.
Not on the edge, but looking at it. Totally get that.
Yeah.
Being Patrick said, not giving up. In Ron, we trust.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel like if they're going to have this crappy season, I would rather have Ron Washington than most anybody else who could be a manager for this team. Unless it was like Scioscia. And maybe, Mike, I'd even take Ron Washington over Scioscia because I feel like Ron Washington has this rapport with the players, not just with the Angels, but throughout his whole coaching career.
Yeah.
He builds up these relationships that are going to be beneficial to these guys for the rest of their career.
Yeah, Sonny Boy Gonzo brings up a really good point, and we'll actually talk about this on tomorrow's show. He said, frustrated at the lack of execution in situational baseball costs us 5 to 7 wins. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
I totally agree with those numbers. At
Yeah.
least 5 to 7 wins.
Yep.
DKN36 said, totally zen. No expectations this year. I love that. I love that. Sean X Paul X said, I'm miserable. This is the worst season of Angels baseball that I can remember. And the truth is, yeah, it's not been great. And it's been a really tough month. There have been worse teams.
Yeah, can we talk about the 1992 team? I brought it up a couple of times on this show. They didn't have a double-digit home run guy on that team. I think if they did, I think it might have been Gary Gaetti, maybe with 10 home runs. They were awful. They were awful that year, and I distinctly remember that as a 12-year-old watching that. Some of you may not have been alive then, but when we talk about like the worst team, maybe in your memory, that's fine. But you didn't live through 1992.
Yeah. Well, and that's the key is like some people may not have memories of 1992.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was going to say like this, there have been worse teams in history. However, if your tenure of watching the Angels started 2000, 2001, like,
right.
Yes, this probably is.
You're very spoiled.
Yes. Like, can I end on this one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
It's so funny. E03C said, it's not time to quit. It's time to swing away. And if you watch any baseball on TV this year, you know exactly what we're talking about. This game we call life can be really hard.
Yeah. That commercial speaks to my soul every time I watch it because
it's not time to quit. It's time to swing away.
Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Remember, the Angels are playing an early game, 9:35 Pacific time. Catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Angels.
Hey, give us a follow at Locked On Angels on Twitter for the best bronze takes in baseball. Mike, I had to humble brag a little bit. I said, who knows ball? I guess we do because we were right about the lineup yesterday.
Yeah.
I just... You know me, when I get on one, I don't let it go.
Oh, I know you.
A good,
I know you my whole life.
So follow us on Twitter at Locked On Angels, at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to YouTube, get into today's show, hit that subscribe button because it really helps out Mike and I. I see you guys hitting that subscribe button, so we really appreciate that. I see the numbers climbing. Hit that like button on your way down to the comment section and then get in the conversation with us. Michael, what do we have on deck for tomorrow's show?
Well, it has been a really rough schedule to start the season. So does it get easier? And what does easier even mean, right? So we're going to give you some insight into the future schedule tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Are you telling me it's not time to quit? It's time to swing away.
Swing away.
I hope that's the conclusion of our conversation.
It's the whisper that gets me the most.
That's right. That's right. It's so ridiculous. So those commercials, can we just do a segment on the commercials at some point? Because they drive me insane.
Right.
All right, friends, we've had enough fun here. But we're not going to cut off the fun. We're out of time. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for being everydayers. Thanks for tuning in every single day. Until tomorrow's show, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Michael, and that's my brother Jonathan.
Don't quit. It's time to swing away. All right, friends. Thank you for being here, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
We're making fun of them. It's a mental health commercial. Like, we probably shouldn't be laughing too much at it.
But they showed 100 times in the game.
They do.